What is going on, guys? It's Dealer here, back again with yet another RDX podcast. We have got something special here for you tonight. The Iron Lords are here, and furthermore, one of them's got a big ass transformer behind him. The other one's got a good microphone. So this can be a phenomenal show. We got a bunch of great topics, and you know what? I wanted to start with some shout outs. We'll get into some intros. We got some amazing topics afterwards and throughout the show. So stay tuned, grab a drink, and hit that like button if you're here earlier. We really do appreciate it. And of course, maybe tweet this thing out, help us out a little bit. So first and foremost, we got to give the Patron giveaway winner a shout out. Jesse Nup from Patreon. You win either Metro Exodus or No Man's Sky Next. It was your choice. So just DM me and I'll send you that code. We've also got some patron sponsors here, including, but not limited to, Captain Redbeard, Lethal Papa. We got Darge Knight. We got Prime Suspect. We got Michael Bowen, Channing Pennington, Guillermo Cabillo, Robert Prather. Thank you guys so much for doing what you want to do. Of course, if you want to become a patron, check that link down below. Every little bit helps. And of course, we've got to give a big shout out to our phenomenal panel tonight, starting with, and we'll get to the guests later, because, we'll get to the guests later. We're going to start with, obviously, the most talented person here, D Batch. What's going on, D? How you been, bud?
Why is everybody laughing? I've been fighting.
What's going on, D?
I've been fighting this cold for the last 5 days. The whole household got sick, and so I've been home a lot. I've been playing a lot of games, and I gotta say it again, man. You know what? Don't always go by what reviewers say. Play a game for yourself. I'm having a blast with Anthem. Everybody hates that game. I love that game. I just love that game.
Well, we're glad you're enjoying yourself. Cody Swift, what's going on, brother?
Nothing. Just excited for tonight. We got the Lords here. Last time they were on, it was just a great time. So I'm happy to be here.
We've also got Zalker87. How you doing, little Tapo?
I'm doing good, bud. I'm doing good. I'm happy to have the Lords in here. Look at them stepping up their game. They crazy over there, man. They're awesome. It's good to have them on here. It's always a good time.
Once again, yeah, great to have you on, brother. We've also got Fonzarelli, the newest permanent member again on RDX. What's going on, brother?
I like how you word that. The newest permanent. Yeah, I'm also fighting a cold too, but yeah, I'm here, and great to be here with the Iron Lords as well. All my brothers are here. This is like family. This is going to be a great podcast.
Yes, and we've also got King David Lord Voltron in the background. What's going on, man?
I'm chilling. I'm happy to be back with a better mic. Thank you so much, Dealer.
He said that with so much animosity.
I love
you're doing good though, right? Been a
Yeah,
minute.
man. Yeah, it has. I've been waiting for the call. As soon as I saw that bat signal go up, whoosh, here I come.
How many calls we got to send? Shit, last time we had you on, everything was chill. Time for that, you're doing burnouts in a Corvette 83, and then, so we got you back. We had a phenomenal time last time, and we've also got Lord Cognito. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Dealer, man? Lords of RDX are in the building. Man, it's long overdue, man. Got to bring the ILP through, man. Great panel, great topics, man. Super excited. Dealer helped me step my game. This is all because of Dealer, y'all.
Oh, you guys give me way too much credit.
I'm telling you, I put the pressure on him.
You put the pressure on us. You put the pressure on us, King, brother.
I was like, what? He said, what? My phone did what? Oh, hold on.
Hey, last time motherfuckers was hearing some walkie-talkies, but hey, you're back.
Yo, low-key, he was mic shaming us, yo.
What a friend for. What a friend's for. Hey, we got to give a shout out to almost 300 people already joining us live. Hit that like button. We do appreciate it. We got the Iron Lords here, and shout out to the rest of the Iron Lords. We got Lord Attic, who's not here. He had a rash and shit. And then we got, Iron Lords. They got their own thing going on. So check them out. One of them will link their stuff down below. But hey, I wanted to start out with the fact that, well, I guess actually I'm just looking at this, and I apologize. This is the worst topic to start off on ever. So I'm going to skip around. We're actually going to start with the March Xbox Games with Gold, because this has kind of been out for a minute. A lot of people are downloading them. We'll start with something easy, let people trickle in and get into some of the interesting stuff here. But we've got Adventure Time. So, David, I know you know that shit.
Yes,
Plants
I
vs.
was
Zombies.
playing it.
We got Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 for the Xbox One. The OG Xbox, you got Star Wars Republic Commando. And for the 360, you got Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Colt Eastwood, have you messed with any of these yet?
Adventure Time, yeah, I played it with my kid. Yeah, it's all right. It's a turn-based, like, little RPG type game. not very funny, but I don't know. Republic Commando's pretty cool. I played that back on the OG Xbox. It's kind of like a Stormtrooper Halo type game. At least it felt like it way back then.
Yeah.
And I hear great things about Metal Gear Rising. It's one of those games I never got around to, but a lot of people liked it.
Yeah.
4 games for Games with Gold and only 2 on PS Plus.
Why you got to bring that up, huh?
I mean, it's just math. It's just what I do.
Bro.
It's just math.
He said it's just math.
Fucking Isaac Newton over here.
L. Jaffe says the Star Wars game's badass. Yes. You know what? That's back when LucasArts had full control and they didn't, sell themselves there. So, you had all kinds of different types of Star Wars games, man. I wish that EA didn't have that locked down. What can we say, King David? I mean, don't you miss the days of the pod racers and the Jedi Knights and the
I'm
Republic
not
Commando?
gonna lie, I'm not with you on that because they had a ton of crapware, man.
Come on.
Man, that one for Super
What do we got
Nintendo,
now?
that was a
instead
bad
of a bunch
Super
of
Nintendo
crapware
game.
and maybe 1 or 2 great games. Now we just got nothing but crapware from EA with Star Wars.
I like the fake Battlefield Star Wars. I love that. It's crazy fun to me.
like the
With the
loot
loot
boxes.
boxes, I
That's
love
what
it.
that is. You like the pay
You
to
just
win.
like to open shit.
That's
That's all.
right. I love the pay to win, man.
This motherfucker just like opening shit.
Different.
Yeah.
That's it. David just likes opening shit.
Exactly.
So those are your games to go for this month. I know many of you already started downloading some of this. Zalker, what's up with this Xbox Game Pass hint they've thrown out on Twitter here?
Yeah, the Xbox Game Pass Twitter, they always like put some shit out there. They troll people, but they put out this like little like email thing saying, "Oh, we couldn't help ourselves." And if you read it, there's like the Rico Rodriguez guy from Just Cause 4, and it says insurance policy, sorry for the damage. So people caught on to that, and they think that's going to be the.
Was that signed to Square Enix for the port sales of Just Cause 4? Or?
I mean, who knows, man? All I know is that Colt had a blast playing that game. But yeah, I know that. That
Sometimes,
guy, yeah. Sometimes you should hear him. He's like, "This game is just not that good." 5 minutes later, that was so cool. It was the weirdest. That was Colt in the party chat playing that damn game.
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but that game coming out, on the Game Pass, I think that'd be pretty cool. I actually wouldn't mind playing it. I think it's going to be in April. That's what people think it is, but I don't know why they would hint it so far, like at the beginning of March, if it's not coming out in March.
Yeah,
so we'll see with that.
Interesting. Yeah. Randolph Thor has something more important to say. He says, "I heard Zalker's taking huge L's on Scumcast this week." I heard the same thing, Rand. That's weird. We must got the same story.
Oh wow, the corpse comes out. Look at him. Man, I didn't know he was. I didn't even know he was clickbaiting in chat too, dude.
Oh man, don't go after Rand like that.
Hey,
Rand's got
don't
a million
be coming
games
at me,
for him,
Rand.
right?
Don't come at the man with the mic.
Oh,
Rand
man.
is well respected. Come on now.
Yeah, Randall is well respected amongst the. Never mind. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and double down on this Game Pass thing. So if they are hinting at Just Cause, some say maybe it's Just Cause 3 or an older one. Just Cause 3 is already in there, I do believe. So maybe this is Just Cause 4 a few months after launch, which is pretty interesting, right, Colt? I mean, I put down money on this game. You put down money on this game. This is definitely a Game Pass game, in my opinion. Maybe it's a rental is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it is.
But you ended up kind of liking it, right?
Yeah, like Zocker nailed it. I was like, man, this game sucks. It's like one of the ugliest enhanced games on the library, and I mean that as a Just Cause fan. But sometimes, man, it's just so fun. And I don't know, you could put rockets on cows and cars and watch them flip around and blowing up stuff. Like the performance is just pretty solid on this one. Finally, so
Cole,
I don't know.
you say Just Cause fan like that's a thing.
Oh yeah, it's not. No, I mean, I really like Just Cause 2 is one of the best games of last generation for me. It's like it's up there in like the top 10, 20 like of my favorite games. So
I'll tell you what's not is New Dawn. Oh my god.
What, Far Cry New Dawn?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I'm sorry about that one.
Playing that game.
You already stopped playing it?
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh
It's
man,
just-
thanks.
It's too bland with bright, vibrant colors and sharp, detailed graphics and just really bland.
Hey, I just want to put a public service announcement out there, especially for you guys at the Iron Lords podcast. You got a friend named Cody Swid. Don't let him convince you to buy Far Cry New Dawn.
Oh my god!
Sorry.
Goes in the bushes.
he was loving it. He was loving it for 2 hours, and he's like, "Dealer, you need to check this out." Dealer's like, "All right, click." And he's like, an hour later, "This game sucks." It's terrible, dude.
Oh my
I'm
God.
the worst guy ever.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of stuff going around with Xbox. Obviously, you got people that are that are doing what they're doing for a certain amount of attention. Then you've got other guys that are claiming that the brand is dead. And you know, we try to keep things factual as possible. That's why I always like to show things, sources on screen as I'm talking about them. And I've referenced the 10 billion annually several times. Well, here recently, Xbox had their largest gaming revenue in their history. Microsoft had their largest gaming revenue in its history. King David, does that sound like the mark of a dead brand of a company that's trying to get out of gaming?
Sound like Phil Dominus out here dominating. That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like.
That's what it is.
I mean, you've been on both sides of the aisle. You hear a lot of what a lot of people got to say, and there's this message out there that's constantly being sent that Microsoft is in trouble, that they're failing, that they want to get out of the business, and that they're just getting dominated like a motherfucker. I mean, how can this be? How can there be two different realities? It kind of reminds you of modern day news cycle, right?
It's just fear mongering. You know, it's actually being afraid of what's going to come next. You understand? Like after you understand they were dominated in 360 era. They caught up at the end, like, what's up, guys? Like, get out of here with that. So now we're on to the next, and then it's like, yeah. So it was some slip ups in the beginning, and they always know that they accident champions. You understand? Like they always like a
banana peel champ.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
Banana peel champ.
Microsoft then slipped on the banana peel. Excuse me, like you know. So, I really feel that is fair. You know, yeah. Then they understand when Microsoft gets it together, they know who's in charge now. Who's not in charge?
So they know there's a lot of capability there, and then they're kind of. Hang on one sec. Got to give friendly neighborhood blue shell shout out, brother. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for joining us live. He says, for my weekly dose of dealers saying the word fraud. I just said it. So yeah, we'll say it a few more times.
I got to say, you know, David, you can't slander my PS4 Pro, even though I haven't turned it on since the last exclusive that came out. You can't slander that.
What do you mean, Fonz? What do you mean you haven't turned it on since the last what do you mean? What?
Spider-Man.
That's the last
time. It's Spider-Man, man.
Oh, you don't let Fonz go on Spider-Man. That MJ
we're not going there. We're not going there.
MJ slander go come out.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what's funny? I got to double down on that because they said that with the DLC they put more MJ missions into that. And I'm like,
man.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, somebody said that they did.
Well, it actually, yeah, they did. I was playing through because I bought season pass like an idiot after the fact, and I was playing through some of the side stuff, and aside from the Black Cat mission that I actually was making my way through, that seems to be the only legitimate mission in all of the DLC. But the DLC has side missions, and one of those involves a character who has a large social media following, and to beat her segments, you gotta fly through these areas on your web and then take pictures and fill up the OMG meter. I mean, it's that bad.
Well, you know what though? I mean, aside from that one game, I mean, their exclusives are fire. So that's why the PS4 is like.
Well, I think Spider-Man's fire though. You
Wait a second, we're going to slander game of the year. So
I told you how to walk away from that Spider-Man.
Hey, David. It was a solid 7 out of 10 for me, dog.
Okay, you know what? And everybody has their opinion. Like, you know, like game of the year. Sorry. That's why I'm wearing red right now. You see it? I did it on purpose.
Well, in either case,
sounds like Randy Jackson, American Idoling the game.
Yeah, don't do it.
American Idoling. Well, just so you remember, 7 is not like a bad score. It's okay.
No, it's not bad. It's good.
Oh, man, Spider-Man was fun, man. But Fonz is right. Like 2018 with God of War and Spider-Man was a good time. Well, look at the Spider-Man glasses coming.
Wait a minute.
Oh yeah,
don't do it. I'm telling
you. Cole, you did not even mention Red Dead 2, the best game of the generation.
No. Hey, come on, context. I'm talking about the
Slow-mo says, stop the Spider-Man slander. Yeah, we got to stop. Yeah, I like Spider-Man. I give it a high 8 myself. So we do got to kind of move on. But I like your analogy there, David. You know, banana peel champ. So you think people are, they're afraid of what's going to happen, and that's kind of your thoughts on it. Cognito, what are your thoughts about this false narrative of failure and blunder on behalf of Microsoft, and the fact that they're actually the most profitable that they've ever been in their game division, even with so little software over the past couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, it's just obvious. I mean, we've already seen the numbers. We've seen in comparison to the 360 era. You know, it's just a profitable platform right now. And what people have to realize, and I think it was you put this out, deal as far as the sales where they're generated. You know, and software is where it's at, and services is where it's at right now. So not only they're still doing successfully financially, they still have this roadmap that they're trying to implement. And a lot of gamers that are stuck in traditional way of thinking, almost like an antiquated way of thinking, they're not adapting to it. They're still stuck to that hardware. And eventually, like we already seen, Sony's doing the same thing. We've seen the reports, LinkedIn, these guys are trying to get, these services on, their games on every device as well. So
I thought you're talking about the job listings where Sony is saying, hey, we're bringing a PS Now to every device as well.
Exactly, man. This is where this thing is going, and gamers got to get ready. So all this, fear mongering and antiquated thinking, it's about to be over, man.
Hey, I got to give a shout out to almost 500 people watching this live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's try to get to 300 for the end of the show. We cracked 1,000 pretty fast on the last show. So if you're watching at the fact, let's get 1,000 likes. That would be well appreciated. You guys are awesome. Cognito, I want more from you, motherfucker. You kind of mumbled and then ran away. So I mean, I hear you. You're definitely referencing the job listings, which are real. People say those aren't real sources, but those are fucking job listings. What else do you want? And secondly, so we know they're bringing their stuff to mobile. We know they brought their stuff to PSTV, which is a little box, a little device that they've had. We know they brought it to PS3, PS4, PC, and Samsung TVs even. Yet for some reason, people like to pretend like they don't want to do this. I mean, there's a big headed Sony fanboy channel out there saying that, me and Colt are just wanting streaming. That's all we want. We just want to stream everything, even though we've been very clear about how we're not going to actually stream anything if we have the option, but it is an option that are good for people. Exactly. I mean, would you agree? There's a lot of motherfuckers stuck in the cement around here.
Yeah, absolutely. At the end of the day, listen, traditional consoles are not going away. That's going to be the best place to play. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Like Microsoft is trying to tap into markets that they traditionally can't get the console in. So at the end of the day, if it means a phone, tablet, TV, Switch, we'll get into it or not, because that's the point of contention. But at the end of the day, this is where they're trying to go. They're trying to reach the most gamers, that 2 billion mark, and that's how you do it. And you best believe, when Sony sees that and that type of engagement, they're going to be planning to do the same thing. Streaming is where it's at. It's unfortunately, it scares a lot of people, but people have to understand that is not the only option. We're still getting traditional hardware, and that's it.
I mean, they've literally doubled down with 2 traditional hardware powered consoles, right? So, software is where it's at. Services is also kind of where it's at when it comes to revenue. That doesn't mean that I'm making excuses to say, yeah, just stick to making Game Pass and that's it. No, we want more games. We've been talking about this for over a year. Right. We all want more games here, but just because we're talking about how they're actually profitable the most in history does not mean that we're making excuses for them. We've been very critical with that. D-Batch, what are your thoughts about this false narrative?
I don't really have a thought on it, to be honest.
Okay.
The most talented.
The most talented. I don't really have a thought. D, you don't got nothing on this shit. You've been dealing with a lot of these guys in different podcasts, man.
About streaming.
Honestly, I can't deal with the stupidity anymore. Like Microsoft has all these new studios that they bought up. Like it's so obvious what they're doing, that they're invested in gaming, that we're hearing reports there's going to be more than one console coming out next generation. People forget that the PC exists. Microsoft has a good base on the PC as well. Of course, Sony wants to go on everything as well. The more customers that you can reach, the more money you can make. And people that can't grasp that are just fanboys. And to be honest with you, you're still going to have the hardware. They're still going to come up with traditional consoles. That's not going to go anywhere. You're still going to have that option. But this is another option. And half of these people that are against this shit, when it comes into play, they're going to be using it. They're going to be going to work and be like, oh shit, I can continue my gameplay on my ride to work on my cell phone or on my tablet.
I mean,
or
they can't say they don't have time because the motherfuckers are on Twitter all day.
And also, like, it's just a stupid fanboy stance to have. To be honest with you, the industry is growing. It's going this way. You got all these companies invested in the cloud. It's happening. Deal with it.
There's two. There, D said that it's a fanboy problem. It's actually a problem on both sides. You've got the we'll say Sony or PC guys that say, oh, I can play Xbox games anywhere. I don't need to buy an Xbox, but you've got the really hardcore Xbox fanboys saying it doesn't make my Xbox special anymore. It's not unique, and there's no reason to own it. It's like
That
you already bought
afterglow is gone.
yeah, you already bought your Xbox, or you already plan on buying an Xbox. Like this is, and I've tried to be very clear that this is something I'll probably use when I'm somewhere else, or maybe I'll use it just at lunch break at work. Like it's just one of those things. Like we all enjoy music everywhere, and our movies and almost anywhere. Like Xfinity, all the
I'm still packing around them CDs and that. Hey,
I still have my iPod Shuffle.
This
it's just
friend
funny
wants to know if they'll force crossplay with mobile users through xCloud. Honestly, it's going to take a little bit of time, but we've already seen this happening. Sea of Thieves, for instance, has actually allowed console guys to turn off that crossplay functionality with PC. So it's up to the developers, and I think a smart developer is going to be one that gives you an option.
Well, I got a little thing about this. Is what I'm wondering is what is Sony going to do for the PC part, right? Because right now it's just streaming. I don't think that's going to really stick with PC gamers, just sitting on their PC streaming PlayStation games.
No.
One of the things that we thought with PS Now was like, oh, you can't download it. Well, now you can. You can download PS Now games on your PS4. So to me, that was an indication of like they're getting their home system down first. And I think you're going to be able to download PS Now games on PC. I just wonder what platform they're going to use to do that. Because in that job listing, they talked about transferring massive amount of data, not just through streaming, but through downloading things on clients. So I don't know what that means.
Soccer. That's the PS Now games, the downloading. That's only select games. Am I right?
Yeah, it's not all.
It's not PS3 games. I think it's PS4 games. So that's I think they're going to start it.
And there's over 200 there already.
Yeah, there's already 200,
including things like Bloodborne. Right,
Bloodborne, Until Dawn.
And just so you know, Zucker, that's a really good point. And what I think we've heard all kinds of rumors, and there's patents out there. Sony basically unlocking the ability with we've already told you no matter what PS4 games are coming forward, x86, blah blah blah. It's more of an incentive. Your customers are going to be much less likely to choose you next time around if they can't carry their $1,000 worth of digital goods forward, right? I mean, I got hundreds of games. If I lose those, I'm going to be really pissed off. I'm not going to. For now on, you're going to sign in and have the things you buy on PS4 moving forward. With PlayStation, we know. But there's a patent out where, you can actually have PS2 games now backward compatible and potentially even PS3 games. And that's going to benefit Sony a lot. And you're going to see a lot of those people that said, who wants to play old games while they're buying Crash Bandicoot? They're going to see them flip-flopping really hard. That what I wanted to say and kind of sum this up was, there's going to be a big incentive to kind of move forward there. And I think they've kind of done that by looking at how Microsoft have done it with the Xbox One emulation. And here we go with another rumor of some more insider stuff, people dealing with this code where people are actually natively installing Xbox One games that are PC now. And that's eventually going to happen with the PlayStation as well. Right.
But where are they going to put it? Right. Because right now Xbox is using their Microsoft store. Steam has an ecosystem. Epic has an ecosystem.
Well, they'll have a PlayStation store or something. That's what I'm saying.
That's going to be hard to. That's very hard to manage, and it's expensive to make. That's the thing. Like I know Origin and all that, but those things, security issues, a lot of that stuff is really hard to manage.
I say it's worth having access to hundreds of millions of customers. I think they'll bite the bullet eventually.
Did you say security issues with Sony? Y'all said security issues, right?
Ain't no security issues with Sony. Stop being messy.
Sony really could have an advantage here, though, because a lot of PC guys do want some of those Sony exclusives. And I think if the service was affordable enough, some PC guys might be willing to stream some of their exclusive games as an option, opposed to buying a PlayStation, where they would never buy a PlayStation 5 because they're just PC alone. So they could reach a certain segment of the customer, of gamers that they wouldn't necessarily get otherwise. So
I think... Go ahead. My bad.
No. I would say I think it's something they should explore, and I think that's their only option. Really, is to stream some of their exclusives.
Zucker, go ahead, and I want to respond to a comment real quick.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, and I think that's true. I think that in the beginning, because right now I don't think this is going to happen next generation. I don't think PlayStation's there yet. I think that they'll have it for streaming on PC, but later on they'll have it downloadable. And right now I think that can actually work for them because a lot of their games and their exclusives are single player. So the input and all that doesn't really matter for like the multiplayer games that like say Xbox has or other third parties have. So I think that can work a little bit better for them in their favor. But at the end of the day, I think they do need to get downloadable stuff on PC if they want to hit that market.
Albert G said, this is an important comment. And this is not an attack on you, Albert. This is simply addressing what you're saying because I've seen it happen. Albert G says, so I guess that we're letting big companies dictate to us. This is not the case. Now, I need you to understand that just because Microsoft say, this is our plan, we're taking our games that were locked down to an Xbox. For one, they were on PC already through Play Anywhere, right?
A lot of them, yeah.
But secondly, it's not that Microsoft said this is a thing, so we're like, yeah, it's good. I am literally thinking about me at my core. Do I benefit more by having my things that I pay for wherever I want them or be able to play them wherever I want? Or do I benefit more by having that one game locked down to an Xbox or now, of course, a PC? Exactly. And the answer is having my stuff wherever the fuck I want, right? So that's kind of why we're saying this is good, because we're not thinking about it from, fuck you, you have to get an Xbox to play these games. We're thinking about it from, well, hey, I can play my stuff that I paid for. It's kind of like backwards compatibility. Whether you use it or not, you should be able to carry your purchases forward. That's your stuff, right?
Right.
So
yeah, absolutely.
That's kind of the thought there. Fonz, were you going to say something a while back?
No.
Say no. No.
I got a question.
That time is past. That ship has sailed.
Remember when Sony did that little funny little joke thing, like this is how we share games?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
How they gonna do that now?
Yo, you so messy, bro. You so messy right now, bro.
Because a lot of times I'm listening to all the little dogma just melting away. Because one minute, we can play our exclusive stuff over here, but now we want everything on everywhere. Like it seems like they're playing like monkey see, monkey do, and they've been doing this for a while. So, like, what's next? Like, are they gonna lock their games down that you can only play it over here? Then Microsoft come out with a disc? Like, yo, you can play out this how we share.
Yeah,
like I don't know.
It just shows Phil signing into a computer and someone else over, signing into a cell phone. Hey, God damn it, it's fucking chat. RTX, I'm gonna try to read that the correct way. He says, "Oh snap, Lord Incognito and RDX gets popcorn." Thanks so much, brother. Thanks for the super chat.
Salute, bro.
And to the rest of you guys, shout out to you guys, everyone here in the chat. Lethal Papa keeping that chat locked down. We got Shoguns. We got Brian D. DeMonico. I can't believe that just rolled off the tongue that easily. We've got all kinds of people. Toby, what's going on, brother? So yeah, anybody else got any final thoughts on this false narrative, all the stuff's been going around that hopefully, we can kind of just put it to rest?
No, just end with what you said, dealer. Like, think about what is good for you, what benefits you. Absolutely. And if you get to buy a game and you get a free copy on PC, or if you're on PlayStation, and eventually you get to play that game on a TV in the other room without moving your console, through streaming service for no extra cost, like, be happy. Like, this is the way things are going to evolve. So
and technology waits for no one.
Nobody.
Just an option, man.
It's an option. You don't have to do it. It's just an option, people. That's all
it's being forced to see in the world.
When your Xbox like gets up on all fours and comes after you and start trying to eat your crotch.
Skynet with Xbox and Skynet.
Colt needs to lay off the mushrooms, man.
They're clinging on so hard to that checklist. Like, okay, I have the console. Only I can play that game on this console. You can't play it unless you buy this console. Like, they're clinging to that checklist. And dealers, right? Think about what's good for you and what you're gonna, what you can enjoy and what's better for your money. So,
hey, we've got got a super chat real quick. Amen. And no, Jesus Christ, I can't.
Try again.
I'm sorry, man. I'm
Element appeal.
Okay. Maybe. Okay. I'm slide like that. He says, any predictions the physical size of the all digital? From what I'm hearing, that is going to be the same size as the Xbox One S. It just won't have a disc drive.
Same case.
Well, that's what's being said right now. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, seeing as there's no disc drive. But you got to give a shout out to Luca as well. What's going on? But hey, Zonker, take us into this Don Matrick crushing tweet from Seamus Blackley.
Oh, that was lit. Put that up, Zonker.
So we fuck with Seamus because this motherfucker keeps it real, right?
Explain who Seamus is. Too.
Seamus is one of the guys, essentially one of the creators of the Xbox, the first Xbox,
the original.
And he didn't do it by himself. There's a few other people, but he's one of the guys that given most credit to. And basically, he tweeted out and just crushed Donnie D along with everybody who champions Donnie D and says, "We want Donnie D back." This guy said that Donnie D had no faith in Xbox, never wanted the Xbox. And this is hilarious. So Seamus is an ex-Xbox employee. He says that basically Don nearly blocked him from addressing the company to present the Xbox idea. And Matrick went on to nearly sink the brand, according to several sources. But Zalker, you remember how this tweet was kind of orchestrated?
Yeah, I got it right in front of me if you want me to read it. Nice. Yeah, he says, I've never talked about this before, but the irony of Don Matrick as Xbox chief was huge for me. When I first came to EA Canada to present the idea of a Microsoft console, he nearly blocked me from addressing the company because he didn't believe it was possible. It was tense.
Donnie D.
That's what he says. And then he goes on to say that Metric basically refocused the brand to steer away from exclusives and start focus on media, TV, and Connect.
Oh my god!
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he said
that's the exact opposite of what we've been hearing all these years, right?
And what we've been saying.
So you're telling me that corny looking motherfucker with his arm out, that guy said, "Hey, let's stop talking." Because remember, 360 didn't have a whole lot of first party stuff last gen either. They dominated through multiplats and third party for the most part. But he took that and shredded it down even more and said, let's focus on TV and things that the hardcore really didn't buy an Xbox One for.
You guys don't remember they were actually...
Seamus Black didn't say that. Sorry, Seamus Black didn't say he's the one that did that. Gaming Bolt wrote the article, and they said that that's where Don Metric basically was focusing on more instead of exclusives.
So you guys don't remember this, but toward the end of the 360 era, they were really pushing... Windows Media Center, I think it was called. Do you remember this?
Yes,
and
correct.
And Microsoft was kind of telling people, consumers in their homes, to buy more than one Xbox 360 and link those together to listen to your music and movies throughout the house connected to a TV. And I thought, oh, this is pretty cool. This kind of expands the console beyond what it was going to be. I think this is like 2011. And 2013, Don Matrick, dealer, made me laugh so hard because we have this image burned into our mind of Don Matrick doing the Vanna White with his hand sticking out like, and I announced the Connect, the Xbox One.
Well, I personally, I learned to sort of despise Donnie D when he told people that if you don't have internet, we have a console for you.
That was the death nail, Fonz. That was the death nail.
I never liked him. He was
that's what did them in, to be honest. It was that one comment that fucked them over, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was everything about.
There was a lot of comments.
That was the nail on that.
Yeah, I don't understand why do people champion him when he was such a douche back then?
Well, they think that all of these launch games were his when Phil was actually in charge of first party, and Phil took ideas about Sunset Overdrive, Rise, all this stuff, and he took them to Matrick to be approved. Those were not Matrick's games that he seeked out. Phil took those to Matrick. And Matrick actually greenlighted him and said, "Oh yeah, we need games too, not just TV channels, right?" So,
and it was a mixed message, too, right? Like he didn't really put Xbox, like the executives. Everybody was having such mixed messages. I don't know if you guys remember interviews. Like they're like, "Well, Matrick said this," and they're like, "Oh, yeah." Everybody now seems very unified, like very unified, and they have a single goal. Yeah, he did. Oh shit. Sure. Whatever he said. That's kind of like how it looked like. And it wasn't just that. Wasn't there like a comment about backwards compat? Like, oh, if you want to play 360 games, there's a console for that too.
Yeah,
that was the whole internet comment.
No, that was the used games. To use games, yeah. That was the used game. Same. It's like when I think of Matrick holding his hand out, like I think you could just put the PS4 in his hand. Because he was handing Sony the generation right there. He's just holding that PS4 out in his hand like, here, we've got a console for you.
Yeah, I remember that image, Cole, because there's so many memes. They have his hand like this, and then they show like a wasteland behind him, and everything's destroyed. Like he did his damage, like he was a plant and left.
He's at the fucking bar at E3. It was Sony executives are buying him drinks. He's like, "God, these guys are really nice."
Wow, John, good job. I mean, that plan worked perfectly. Here's your $10 million bonus, and fuck off. So that's kind of the history of Xbox. We've lived it. We've been through it. We don't need to kind of go back over that. But Linux in the super chat says, "What do you guys want and basically hoping for the next gen Xbox? And also, what kind of home screen setup would you like?" You know what? We know it's going to be small. We know it's going to be powerful, efficient. The Xbox One X has proven that their design is, you know what? With the Xbox One X, people give Sony props for design and hardware, and I think they did a great job with the PS4. but we all know that the Xbox One in 2013 was not ready. I mean, the thing that didn't have friendless notifications, right?
Yeah.
The Xbox One sits at the top when it comes to hardware design for consoles. I mean, it is substantially more powerful than anything Sony's ever made, and it's quieter, it's smaller, it runs cooler, and it does it all at a much better fidelity. So Microsoft are the kings of hardware right now when it comes to what they have shown to be able to do. And I want more of that from them. And I also, when it comes to the home screen, I don't want them to have to start all over. I feel like, why put all this work in the dash, and which they haven't updated in a while? I feel like in any meaningful way, why do all that? And by the way, they've said they're not going to really move away from it hardcore. Why do all that if you're just going to get rid of it and then not have friendless notifications and have to get this app back in and you shouldn't have to start over and over and over. That's just kind of my take. But
no, I agree. I think it's one of those things. I mean, they already have the foundation there. There's no need to necessarily change. Now, what they do need to change is that the OS speed. Ooh, they got to get that. They got to get that together.
Oh,
but as far as the actual basic functionality, like you said, Deal, it's one of those things that we will always confuse. Like 360, almost in a sense, had it perfectly, right? And to transition to Xbox One at the start of their launch, to see all those features missing, you know what I'm saying, was definitely disappointing. So definitely seemed ahead of schedule.
It was bad, man.
Yeah,
that launch was rough. I mean,
it was rough.
Everything was its own app. Achievements was their own app. Like,
they were trying to force Snap.
It was because of Windows 8. I don't know if you guys remember back then. Like, so I do this for like living design. Everything Microsoft was doing wanted to be basically about mobile. So even Windows looked like mobile, everything looked like mobile, laptops were mobile. And so that's what they did. They were like, all right, let's transfer this to the Xbox One X and make it look like mobile. And it just didn't work. I think they're in a pretty deep, I have critiques of the Xbox OS and the way it looks and everything. I have critiques of the UI, but I think they're in a good place to just kind of like iterate through it and add to it and just make it a little more sleek. Don't start all over, because then you're starting your whole user experience all over. And it's just like, it's not going to go well. Like you're going to have to test it again. And I think they're in a good spot to work on it and make it a little better here and there.
Hey, we got to give a shout out to over 600 people watching this live. Hit that like button. Let's try to get up to 300 for the end of the show. Really is appreciated. What's going on?
Here's the thing. I don't care if the next consoles are as big as a 1983 Sanyo Betamax player. Okay.
Really?
You
old piece of crap.
Hey, as long as they give me more 60 frames options in these games, I'm good.
I'm with you.
I'm with you.
Yeah, they needed an Anthem.
Slander.
Hey,
it's not slander. It was just like a little slowdown in it. And I was like, I needed that 60 frame option. Like,
you know what? I agree with you. Also, too, with the Division, I played the open beta on the Xbox One X, and I played on PC, of course. Xbox One X, it looks fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I think it's sitting somewhere maybe medium to high settings on the PC, so it looks pretty good. But on PC, that's 60 frames per second. The fluidity, the handling of the guns, your aim, just the explosions, just everything is better at 60 frames per second, and it's really noticeable in such.
I have it on good authority that there's one particular person that's just really, really tired of people like me talking about frame rate. So we just have to, like they're still super casual, so they don't understand the benefit of higher FPS and stuff. So we're just gonna leave their feelings alone. Zachary, you see the super chat from?
I got this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
He says, "Salute to the amazing panel. Side note: good to see Zalker back is still alive after the brutal gangbang on Lucas' podcast."
Wow.
And then in the Robert Downey Jr. voice from Tropic Thunder, "Survive." That's what he said.
That wasn't okay. Yeah, that was a bad impersonation.
It was, but I had to throw it out there.
Good super chat there, Raymond. We appreciate it, man. So
thanks, bud.
Yeah, we Zalker crawled off the set bleeding and shit. So we're gonna go ahead and move it forward. So basically, Seamus Blackley, he outs Don Matrick. Fuck that guy. He's done very little for the brand. Honestly, he didn't really carry forward.
He killed Don Matrick with a T. Kilt.
Yeah,
Kilt.
Yeah, he was killed.
I think Don Matrick is retired. I looked him up after that tweet came out, and it just says like former CEO of Zynga, the mobile gaming company that did Farmville. I don't know. He probably he's in his 50s. He probably just called it and is just sleeping in a bed of cash.
Hey, Raymond says all love, Zucker. All love.
Oh, I got him. Don't worry about it, bud. I don't take this shit personal. Trust me.
Hey, Element of Pio, I got you this time. He says, do you think Xbox/Windows Store will get a refresh anytime soon? D-Batch, do you think so?
It better, man. I don't think anytime soon. I think we're gonna get a refresh on the store for the next generation. It's well overdue. They're losing so much money just because of their fucking store. Like, come on, get it right.
It has gotten better though.
it's got- yeah, a lot
like
better.
when I did test Crackdown out from my review of Crackdown 3. I mean, it no
Trash.
problems at all. Crack Rock 3 ran fine.
Yeah, and it downloaded a little bit easier too, but sometimes there's still a few hiccups here and there, and just overhaul the damn thing. PC gamers don't like it. Your store is console guys. I don't know if they really care so much about it, but PC guys they really do, and it hinders your sales. So get that fixed ASAP.
Absolutely.
They're
Hey,
already working
Docker,
on it.
is there any date on E3 2019? Somebody just asked in the chat. Do you
Is
know?
there any date? Like
I
the
don't
date?
I think it's like
there's a
June
date.
12th or
I think it's
Yeah.
June 12th.
Yeah, it's my
12th.
birthday, June 12th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, hell
So
do you
on
want?
June 12th, you guys send D-Batch some games so I can benchmark them.
There you
He's
go.
turning 55.
He's not going to play him, but he wants to benchmark.
Just get a benchmark them for like 10 hours.
Toby's right. Crackhead 3 was fun. Yes, it was.
It was.
Hey, Cloveril says that Inside Xbox is going to feature Master Chief Collection. The rumor is that they're going to announce that to be running on PC or coming to PC. They're going to bring
Good.
the whole collection all at once to PC. Age of Empires apparently will be there. There's a rumor about Relic Entertainment being acquired by Microsoft. Zucker, how big of a deal is that? What have they made in the past for people that are listening?
Dude, that is so fucking. They're one of my I love them as a developer. They made Company of Heroes RTS. They're making the Age of Empire one. I know. Hey man,
It's
lot
a
of people
thinking
don't like
man's
strategy.
game, Bonds.
Sorry, man. I love RTSs, man. I do. I really
I'm with
do.
you. I'm with you,
So-
Zach. I'm with you.
Yeah, dude. No. Hey, if anybody likes RTSs, hit me the fuck up. 'Cause
Yeah, I
need
got you.
friends.
I like
Don't pay
RTS.
fines
Yeah,
for
dealer
that.
does.
I got
Zucker
you.
Dealer
never
does.
plays RTSs with me. Don't listen to him.
We played StarCraft once, and he was like, "What the hell?" I had like armies everywhere. He had like 2 Marines. He's like, "Fuck you. It's over."
Oh, whatever. I was away
Come
from
on.
the microphone, and so was David. Fuck David.
Not King David. Not King David. My boy David.
To be acquired, right?
Yeah.
Not King David. Not King David. Yeah,
Not King David. He's one of my good buddies, David.
A different
we
David.
play with. Yeah, but
yeah.
they also made that Warhammer Space Marine game, which I actually
That-
really
I
liked in the
love that.
360. I love that game. It kind of looked like Gears, but it was a little. It just had a little twist with Warhammer and orcs and cutting people up with sword. It was cool. So people need to check them out. They're an awesome developer.
Oh man, another developer I'll never play their games for. Okay. Yeah.
Look at that.
So disrespectful.
Nah.
Go play some Mary Jane missions. Oh,
Oh boy. No.
Relic.
That's cool though. I mean, you know what? Options are great. And I know some of those games aren't for me, but for other people, hey, they could love those games. I mean, there's a lot of RTS fans out there.
Mouse and keyboard support.
I mean, hell, there's some market,
Hell yeah.
right? There's a
It's
market for that.
coming.
There's a market for that, and I want a in-depth RTS from Microsoft. Halo Wars was great for an RTS Lite, but it just Rise of Nations is my favorite RTS of all time, and I want something a little more in depth like that. So so Relic Entertainment, those guys make a lot of strategy stuff. Rumored acquisition #20x20, and then they say State of Decay 2 will be there. Apparently that's going to be talking about that survival mode, so they're going to make that game a lot harder and more in depth. And then some
Is
Game
it
Pass
going to work over there?
information.
Is it going to work over there? Okay.
Slander.
Is what gonna work over there?
State of Decay 2. Is it going to work?
State of-
over-
Wow.
I don't know. State of Decay works really well, man. It's gotten a lot of updates. So,
All right, maybe now it does. Yeah.
well, I mean, like I said in my review of that damn game, a lot of people got shitty NAT connections, so they got one bum friend who's playing in a trash can, and they can't have a good co-op session. But you know, we had a lot of fun with that game. So, also, Sea of Thieves big mega updates supposed to be hitting this month or be talked about this month, right, Zalker? What do you expect there as the Sea of Thieves pirate dick face?
I'm gonna stab you. So Sea of Thieves is having on the 20th, which is the 1-year anniversary, I believe. They're showing off their next big update, which apparently they've held off on some updates to add it to this. So there's going to be the arena. They're going to show a lot of that, and then there's some story missions. Apparently, like they're revamping this whole entire thing where they're putting a bunch of story missions. They've hinted at it, and there's a bunch of other stuff that they kept hidden, but they've called this the biggest update and the mega update, which to me shows that there's actually a lot of content because they've been very reserved than what they say. They've said, oh, this is a minor update. Oh, this is just a cool update. They've never said anything is big. So for them to say that, I think they're very confident in the content that they're bringing out, and I'm really looking forward to it. Like
Who said that? Who said
the developer of Rare, Joe Neat is his name.
that?
Yo, neat.
Good to see they're still supporting it, man. At the end of the day, I mean, didn't they get the uptick with the whole, the streamers playing it now, and I'm
Oh,
saying
that went away. They're
Shrouded
not playing it
Spoils.
anymore.
Oh, they're not playing. He said they're not playing it.
Summit's still playing it. He's still
Summit's
streaming. I
playing
think like
Castro.
3.
Yeah.
He plays it like 3 times a week or something like that. But
Gotcha.
the Shrouded Spoils update brought a lot of quality of life insurance on there, and they brought like the fog, and everything's way more active. Like NPCs attack you a lot. There's a lot more stuff going around. There's a lot more PvP. It's just kind of crazy, man.
Did that streaming sensation die out before Apex showed up? Or
oh no! Right when Apex showed up, everything.
Was that the
died.
kill? Yeah.
Yeah, that might have been it.
Well, let me
but
ask
if
you
it
this,
wasn't in Game Pass, then none of that stuff could be happening.
I saw some tweet the other day. Apex reached like 50 million players or something.
Yeah, 50 mil.
50
Absolutely.
million.
And at this point, Fortnite is just straight stealing ideas. Like it's the
the
whole
whole
system.
concept of Fortnite is a stolen.
Oh yeah, we ain't gonna
idea.
get into
It's a
it.
stolen
Shout out to PUBG.
idea.
Shout out to PUBG though. Shout out to
This
PUBG.
is a stolen game.
It's
The
a
game is
stolen idea.
stolen.
Yeah, the whole industry just steals from it. So, Zucker, let me ask you this to wrap up the Sea of Thieves stuff. Will it have the Dolphins from 2015?
Oh my god.
Why? I want the damn Dolphins. I mean, why don't you guys want Dolphins?
They're gonna Photoshop your face on some of them. And you're
Oh,
gonna jump
okay.
out and be like,
Okay.
"Ah!" And
All
that's
right,
it.
yeah. So no Dolphins.
Echo
All right,
the
confirmed.
Dolphins, yeah.
Seriously, the game had Dolphins in 2015. Go back and watch E3 demo. Anyway, so we're gonna actually move forward.
Downgrade.
Anthem is breaking PlayStation consoles. King David, what the fuck did you do?
Here we go. Here we go.
I put a
Put that
Trojan
microphone
horse
in
in there.
So what do you think's happening here, David? And what are your thoughts on this happening to only PS4 users for some reason?
Well, the system simply can't handle it. I mean, I'm just saying, like, it's a pro, but it's not really a pro, right? Like, it's not a pro. No, actually, I've been playing it, and I've seen some slowdown on
This
my
system
X.
simply can't happen.
So I said, I know. Once I saw them bricking, I said, yeah, they tried to push the 4K. They was listening to Mark Cerny, and it really happened this time.
Hey, D, they tried to do that. They tried to do rapid pack math and the shit brick.
What he said? He said 12 teraflops if you do it once at a time. Like what he said?
But no, I will say
What the
that is a very demanding game. When I play it on my PC, it ramps up on my PC as well.
Yeah.
And I think you're onto something here. I think it is something to do with maybe the PlayStation 4 Pro's cooling solution or the regular PlayStation 4.
Is that what's going on? I mean, would that really brick the system, or would it just
Well,
shut it off?
if it's overheating and
It'll power off.
like, over time, remember these consoles, they're running like for hours, right? So these consoles, they have paste on it, everything, right? So over time, some of that stuff does deteriorate a little bit. Although,
are there any notes, or did the developer address this? Like, there's got to be more, Zucker.
why else would they be breaking these PlayStation 4s? What they're not turning back on.
What's going on, Zucker?
No, actually,
The developer did talk about it. They said, "Oh, this is kind of happening. We're looking into it, stuff like that." But the guy that it happened to first on Reddit, went on, called Sony. They told him basically, "Yeah, for a couple $100, we'll repair it." And he's like, "Fuck you! I didn't do anything." And so then the next day, when he woke up after being angry, apparently Sony's refunding people on Anthem because they're afraid to play it.
Not on the system, but on Anthem.
I want to hear muffled fawns in the background. What are you saying?
They're not doing it anymore. Okay, no more refunds. My boss just went through that. I went into work Sunday night, and he goes, "Hey man, I was trying to play Anthem on Saturday, and it totally crashed my system. I had to restore everything just to get my PlayStation up and running again, and it took about an hour for that." And he said that immediately he said he's going to refund the game. He called; they would not refund the game. And then we looked it up and we're like, oh, other people are having this issue too. It's not just you. And he's like, yeah, he said they wouldn't refund me. So I don't think that
here's the problem, Fonz. Sony has told the media that they are giving out refunds for people who have had their PlayStation crash. Somebody on Twitter shared today that they tried to get a refund. They have the screenshot from the live chat, and they said, due to our terms of service, we cannot give you a refund on Anthem. So I don't know what's going on.
What the hell's going on?
Anti-consumer.
Hey, you know what they told my boss? They told my boss that just don't play the game.
Wow.
I got a question. Well, why the fuck are you playing it on PlayStation anyway when you got the X version out there?
Well, he doesn't have the X. He only has a PlayStation 4, a regular PlayStation.
Okay, well, I
4.
want to change my
Oh.
question. I want to
heard-
rephrase my question. Why the fuck don't you have an Xbox One X?
I heard that he I heard that this is only happening on, I believe, on the PlayStation 4, not the Pro.
Really?
I'm not sure.
Either way. I mean,
I thought it happened to Greg Miller. Greg Miller.
Oh, he has a
Greg
Pro.
Miller got it. He put the tweet out.
Yeah, Greg Miller. Just so you
He's like,
guys know,
he's like, I got Anthem.
Greg Miller's PlayStation did brick, and he put it on Twitter because of Anthem.
Jeez.
Shout out to
Look what
Anthem
a
for doing what Destiny couldn't do.
Look what our trade.
Well, Anthem, here's the problem. BioWare's not doing anything about it because they're too busy banning people for playing
from
the
the
game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Fonz. Did you see
Fonz,
that with Glad
jeez.
Fonz?
Yeah,
That's pretty bad.
terrible.
It's
played
in
the
a
game.
bad. To be honest, this is probably this is getting Fallout 76 levels, y'all.
I
Like
know.
this is
I know.
really bad, and you feel bad because it's BioWare and everything. But I agree with
Not
D,
Bioware
man.
no more.
Well, I know, but it's the A team.
Yeah.
But I agree with D. Like it's such a. I mean, I'm playing it on PC as well. It's such a demanding game. It almost feels like it's caught between like the next generation, and for whatever reason, man, this thing it's a resource hog, and I don't know how they get out of this situation with brick.
And it's got load screens just to get into the load screens. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it's a lot of issues right now.
Our
The hardest boss in the
Treux 007 said Sony and other countries are refunding consumers, but in here in the USA, they don't have to because of laws. I don't know how true that is, but
I'll say this, not to cut you off, Cole, but Sony has just the worst practices. Just recently, I was reading in some forum somewhere. Somebody got gifted, I think it was PSN Now or whatever or PSN for the year or something. He got gifted it, right? So he asked for a refund back on it, or something to that effect. He got it, he paid for it, and then he got it gifted. He put it on his account. And he wanted a refund back for the other one, and they wouldn't do a refund, so he did a chargeback, and they banned his account.
I have a question about this though. If it's bricking consoles, I smell class action lawsuit.
This is getting scary, man. This is getting,
Sony
you're
had
affecting
Ace
the OS.
defense team, lawyer team
No,
for that shit.
they're not bricked beyond repair,
No,
right?
Right.
Some of them are.
Yeah.
No, some of them are like they can't turn them on. They unplug them. They've done everything, factory reset, everything they've tried.
Safe mode.
They can't even go into safe mode.
Doorstop
Can't
and
do
station
anything.
4 mode.
Okay, so from what I've read, every time your
Got that
console
angle on it.
crashes, if your console crashes like that and has to restore your hard drive and everything, that is just not good for your console at all.
Exactly.
Dealer just called it the doorstop station 4, and it's got that angle on the front of it, so you can.
Yo,
Well,
y'all
I mean,
disrespectful.
imagine that though.
Y'all
You're playing a game and it literally just turns it into a brick. Element of Pew says, "What's going on with baseball?" I can tell you, I got a little bit of insight here. We've heard from Phil, like literally, this is what Phil said, that baseball games are not profitable. Sony aren't making a lot of money on baseball games right now. And, I was thinking, well, that's a benefit of being able to bring your stuff to PC, something like xCloud, where you can have, potentially a billion users out there. You could bring that baseball game to all those people and to PC and build that market. And you could make money on something like a baseball game. So that's why Microsoft have not actually invested in baseball. Sony have. Unfortunately, if you want baseball, the show is legit. It's a good baseball game. It's always been a good franchise. You have to go ahead and pick that up on PS4. That's the reason my brother's on PS4 right now is the show.
Because of the show. Yeah, I just want to double down on what you said, Dealer, because I remember having that conversation specifically with Phil and Aaron Greenberg. Like, what's the deal? And it ultimately it comes down to that license, man. That MLB license, it's just not profitable for them right now to do that type of investment and not get the return that they see. So maybe in the future, like you said, as far as PC and all that stuff, as an introduction to it. But as of right now, the return is not there for them to dush out that whole thing about, for that license, man. MLB license is not cheap, man.
Oh, you know what they need to do is bring back baseball stars. And
my gosh, I'm just writing that right now, dude. Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say I'm not really into the baseball sims, but like Baseball Stars is amazing. Like it's more of an arcade baseball game. Like
I got nightmares for that. I got nightmares.
That's Neo Geo, King. That's
I paid
look at all
$50
the
for that
players
cartridge.
were jacked. Like you're up to the plate, your guys like all jacked and you like got super hits and like that's fun stuff.
We got to give a shout out to the chat once again. Shout out to over 650 people watching us live, guys. Hit that like button. Let's get up to 300 for the end of the show. 1,000 if you're watching after the fact. Maybe share this wherever you share things. It is well appreciated. And just so you guys know, there's been a whole Nintendo Switch, Xbox Game Pass thing going on here recently. People are freaking out, even though we talked about this well over a year ago. It's like, hey, listen, open your fucking ears. You shouldn't be surprised. We've been talking about this forever. Well, there's other things that are going on now where people, according to polls, Xbox gamers, 25% of them would actually be more willing to pick up a Switch if Game Pass went there, because they can take their Game Pass games wherever they go. Most of those games will be accessible through streaming, obviously through xCloud. But what's this about, Colt? It not happening, or at least not right now? What's going on with that?
So apparently all these journalists and Colt Eastwood ran with the story. And the reason why I ran with it was I based my video more on xCloud coming to the Switch, just because Phil Spencer, Microsoft have outright said this is what they want. They want it on every device that they can. And our common sense tells us that going on a PlayStation will probably be the last place it goes. You know, like a smart TV and tablets and phones and probably the Switch is more believable. So when everybody was running with this idea, this is kind of what they're doing. But the problem was Brad Sams and some of these other experts that like talked to insiders, they said they don't know where in the world this is coming from. So like somebody whispered it on Twitter, and then everybody started writing about it, and that's where we're at now. But I think I didn't say this in my video. I thought we would see this on the Switch in maybe 1 year from now, or at the end of 2019, we would start becoming a thing. But it sounds like this is not going to happen for another year or two, which is a weird thing. Is we may never see Game Pass on the Switch till the Switch is ready to be retired.
Well, there's rumors of a
Switch.
rumors of a Switch Pro as well.
Yeah, Switch Pro too.
Yeah,
which
it's nuts.
is going to be more capable.
Maybe that's where the rumor comes from. Maybe somebody at Microsoft was whispering about the next Nintendo Switch, and that's what they're targeting because they know a little bit better hardware will just facilitate things better. But yeah, it's crazy. But it's just funny the way that everyone freaked out, right, Dealer?
It's not like it's outlandish. I mean, it's a mobile device. Right. xCloud is going to run on cell phones and everything just fine. If Nintendo will have it, it's no problem that it'll show up there.
Yeah, and it's funny how like the guys who don't like Xboxes, I'll call them, like they freaked out like this was like their big bragging right, like exclusives are gone, and they were making fun of everything. And now we're hearing that this may not come out, this may not be a thing for 2 years probably, if that. If it happens.
Jason B in the chat actually brings this comment up, which is perfect because it reminds me of another advantage of something like Game Pass on the Switch. A lot of Nintendo guys were excited because streaming Game Pass through low latency xCloud, like over your Wi-Fi and stuff, brings a bunch of third-party support like Fallout 4 and whatnot that wasn't there before, that can't run natively on the hardware. Amazing. Whereas we think you'll definitely see Ori 2 natively launch on the Switch at the same time that it launches on Xbox this year. The games like that and Cuphead you'll see natively, but of course bigger AAA games that can't run there, and there are a ton. Developers have already talked about it, can actually run and stream on that device quite capably, right? So that's a good point, Jason.
Go ahead.
Are they doing Assassin's Creed right now in China on the Switch?
Yeah, I believe that. And I think they did Resident Evil
as
well. Yeah, so they've been dabbling, you know what I'm saying? And I heard the same things what you said, Colt, as far as like short term right now is probably not in the cards right now, but I can still see this maybe down the road. But right now things are still in place. I mean, we still haven't gotten the xCloud beta and stuff going. You know,
I'm about to say short term, we haven't even gotten xCloud itself yet.
Exactly. So. Yeah, but we still have to do xCloud. You know what I'm saying? And you know the beta is this year at the end of the year. So
until they get it on the until they get xCloud going in the beta, then they get xCloud working perfectly on the on the console itself, on mobile and PC. That's when we'll see it going to different networks like Nintendo. Once that happens, then it's going to be a reality where we're like, all right, this is coming pretty soon. It's around the corner. But until then
they can have games.
Oh my!
David, you looking for this xCloud thing? What are you gonna stream it on Voltron back there?
Yeah, you know what? Like if Phil would put it on his chest if he can get it there.
Oh my God,
that's a fact. But you know, you're gonna need a 5G switch. And that's probably like the Pro, like everybody said. And the time frame right now,
Switch. What?
5G, you know, Grandpa Nintendo ain't even touching.
No,
yeah, I mean, you just need 10 megs per second, and that's it to stream Switch.
It'll get to that point because it trust that 5G switch.
5G, like a network,
Yeah. Just
but
like I'm waiting for the 10 to come out 5G. I'm not gonna upgrade to get the regular 10. It doesn't make any sense. It's not that big a leap. But when that 5G leap comes out, then that's when we're gonna see the broadband open up. You're gonna get a lot more access.
You're gonna see people be more open to this, is what you're saying.
Yes, the Switch should be open to anything after that. Because
I don't know if they're going to put 5G on. I don't know if they're going to put 5G on the Switch, because then you got to pay for another subscription, right? You got to pay for that 5G from Verizon or whatever. That's kind of a hard sell to me, man.
Remember the Vita that had the I had that one, and I was online and I was having fun while these guys were stuck in the house on their Wi-Fi.
On the park and shit, taking strolls.
People in the chat are like, I thought this stuff worked on 4G. Yeah, we're not talking. It does work on 4G speeds, is what Microsoft were referencing. So if you got a Switch and you hook it up to Wi-Fi, you have no problem streaming that. But 5G, by 5G, David means, hey, like through your phone provider. You can have LTE on your cell phone, kind of like built-in wireless coverage through your phone provider, like they did with the Vita, you said, David?
Yes.
Yeah, so
that was the best
people
Vita.
How that worked real quick, the Vita in 10 seconds.
Well, okay. Well, when I had the Vita with the internet connection from my mobile unit, I was able to go out to the park and just play in the park by myself with no problem, not worrying about a Wi-Fi
service, right?
Using my cell data service without worrying about a Wi-Fi connection. I was all over the place playing with it. While Cognito and I got to throw you under the bus because y'all was stuck in the house on Wi-Fi, and I was like, join me outside. I was like, I don't have that $100.
Let's be like those people in the Nintendo commercial and play at the park on our Nintendo.
Yeah, he had to do the Switch commercial at the park, at the club with the Vita out.
Yeah, the club with the Vita.
Rooftop party with the Switch.
Sitting on the floor in the club. Sitting on the floor in the club. I wasn't going to get you tonight anyway.
Sitting on the floor at the club, 2019 Coldie Switch. So, hey, according to just persistent rumors, Persona 5 has come to Switch. It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
Does that mean, Cognito, that this game's a piece of shit? No one cares now because it's multi-plat.
Listen, they better care, man. That thing's coming, man. I mean, definitely with Switch. We've already seen the Smash DLC crossover, so they've been hitting. I forgot what podcast I was on. Now, shout out to the Four Guys Recorders. I believe they had some surveys out, and those guys at Atlas are asking which platform they also want to see. You also want to see the game, and Xbox was there, so they definitely have strong ideas of putting this thing right over, man.
Engage.
Exactly. Oh, the engage.
That's a lot of fans. It really does.
Hey,
I don't care for the game, but there's a lot of people that love it.
Also, I hear Banjo from Banjo Kazooie. That's gonna be in Smash Brothers eventually, and that's where that whole rare leak and how they were teasing all that was supposed to happen. So. I don't know why I'm whispering like I'm fucking whispering. Hey, guys,
I know.
You know, why are you doing it so softly? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm testing this compressor. So they got that going on. So Persona 5 going multi-plat. You're supposed to hear about this new Respawn Star Wars game in April. Apparently, that's another thing going on. And Obsidian CEO says they have 4 different teams at Obsidian right now. It's a big team. It's almost 200 man strong. And two studios are starting things up, quote unquote. D-Batch. What do you think they're working on over there at Obsidian? They're working on the Outer Worlds right now. They're finishing that up. Microsoft do not have full rights to that game, full sequel rights or anything. It was funded by Take-Two. But they do have a vested interest in that game doing well. But they're working on some new stuff.
I have no idea what.
Oh my God, D! You're supposed to be the most talented.
I got it.
I know, Steeler.
I know one thing, and Dealer throws him under the
Ball
bus.
is broken.
Well, they kind of hinted at it, right? The guy that owns Obsidian, whatever, the lead guy, he kind of hinted at saying like, yeah, we checked the box of like RPG open world that Microsoft was kind of missing. He's like, yeah, but I don't think that was the reason they kind of acquired us. I think it was more of they liked what we can do and our talent. So yeah, we do check that box of RPG. So I think that's what they're working on because that's all he talked about. He likes those types of games. They like
Peter Young just dropped it. Peter Young just Peter, we should have had you on. Obsidian is working on Solitaire 4K.
Imagine
if it's not 60 frames per second, it's horseshit.
Yeah, better have 60 and be pissed.
Imagine those cards like just duplicating each other, bouncing around the screen in 4K. Oh my god, HDR, bring that on.
Yeah.
So you're saying Obsidian has like 3 more games for Xbox Game Studios they're working on?
No. They got a team finishing up the Outer Worlds. They got another little dinky team doing something else, and 2 other teams starting up something else. So, don't get me wrong. It's like that whole studio is like 170, 180 people right now. So it's not like they have 200-man teams, kind of like Playground or Rare or whatever is going on.
Well, they're going over 200 apparently. Like
they're going to increase funding.
They're going to increase to 200 because 343 was at 500, and then a couple people from the Inside on Reset Era said they're at 600 now.
Yeah.
343 is at 600 people working at that place. So every studio, Brad Sams, a couple people from the Inside, like they've said that the internal teams on like the studios at Xbox have hired like crazy. That they don't even know how many people work at each studio. So I think Obsidian's over 200. We know that 343 600. We know Ninja Theory's hiring like crazy. Like everybody's got a lot of people because they want to make the games the best they possibly can.
Well, we got a fortune teller in the chat. CXino says Xbox 2 is gonna fail. Call me now for your free bumper clock reading. Fucking kidding me.
I feel like Microsoft is doing like the SimCity thing, like when you're just getting started and you want to build a whole bunch of buildings, but you don't have the money, so you just hit the loan button and you go. Like they're just like putting all this money and hiring all these people and building all these games, and they must be like looking out ahead, like 3 or 4 years, going, "We're gonna make a bunch of money on these games. We're going to just like all these services and everything is going to start pulling in money." Like they're taking a big gamble, and it's nice since it seems like they sat down for like 3 or 4 years.
So some of these developers that are going to be working underneath them are going to be making just a bunch of Game Pass fodder.
That's great. I'm sure you'll play every one of them, Fonz.
Yep.
Game Pass fodder.
Game Pass fodder. Funny, no one was saying that when Horizon 4 released, and no one's going to say that when Gears releases, right, Dave?
No, there's going to be some great games, of course, AAA, but I'm talking about the Game Pass fodder that's coming as well. There's
a lot of good games in there. You just got to dig into them and just, play some. Just pick one up that you won't normally play. Just close your eyes and punch the screen and then play that game. You might have fun with it.
I mean, I'm not saying all of them are going to be bangers, but I am going to say that with more funding, more talent, right? More time. Time is very important. Phil said they're giving everyone more time. Bonnie Ross just said that they're not going to target Halo for Xbox One or the next Xbox and release it when it's done. That's the shit I do like, right? So time is very important. Time makes detail. Time makes all these games kind of stand out and more special. So give these guys more time. And if anybody's going to come out with Game Pass fodder, studios like, the guys behind We Happy Few, some liked it, but, didn't do too well. Their previous game didn't do too well. Hopefully those guys, and don't forget that a nameplate's a nameplate. You can always fill in that nameplate with more and more talent and make that studio better. We've seen great studios make dog shit.
And we've also seen small studios make some great games, some great AA games as well. So when I say fodder, it sounds so bad, but I'm just saying,
they're should have just said dog shit instead.
They're going to be a bunch of AA games in there as well, sprinkled in. You'll have the AAA games.
Sony's got a ton of AA games, and people don't mind that. So I mean, why would anybody care, right?
The difference is with a service like Game Pass. Let's be real, because you're in that ecosystem, you're in that environment. Those little games might normally not get a chance to shine on their own, but now you're sitting there next to a Halo, you're sitting there next to a Gears, so you're like, all right, I'm in this service. Let me, like King said, let me try this out. What's this Ashen about? What's
it's
this
funny.
Gear Zero about? You know what I mean?
Because I did the same. Go ahead.
Muffled phones in the background. What are you saying, Bud?
Yeah. I said it's funny. Cognito says that because it's the same thing I said about Hellblade 8 months before it got into Game Pass. It's exactly what I said.
That's why I'm not buying games anymore.
Did you play and beat Hellblade?
Not yet. But I
fucking fraud.
No, it's not a fraud thing because that's exactly what I'm saying. Now that it's on Game Pass, I'll try it. I didn't want to try it before that. I said it's a game that I would try.
You got to download it, man. It looks phenomenal. It's got 60 FPS mode. I mean, it's not the most complicated game, but remember, it was built with $10 million. So, it is what it is. Hey,
you got Paul's got the fraud alert? Yeah, Paul's got the fraud alert early. What the fraud alert at, kid?
Somebody. I mean, I had to ask. Shit, I mean, it's a pretty good game. Pretty good game. Hey, Fonz plays a lot of games though. So now that you put down Far Cry New Dawn, maybe you can download Hellblade and give that a try.
There you go. And that's exactly what I'm talking about with these Game Pass games. You know, you'll get some games that don't get a lot of shine outside of it, and now that they're there, it's something to pick up and play.
Jay wants to know if I played Cuphead. Yes, I did play Cuphead. I think I beat the first guy, and then I realized I had Wolfenstein 2 to play, so I never looked back.
I'm just like you.
Yeah. Hey, D-Batch, tell us about this new next generation navi shading technology stuff going on. I know you made a video about it recently, right?
Yeah, I put a video up today. Yeah, this is really, really exciting news.
So explain the scenario and then tell us all how it works.
Okay, so basically AMD patented their own variable rate shading technique, and they're going to use it on consoles and for VR. So basically this is going to go on Navi. The timing of this basically says it's for Navi. And we pretty much know at this point that the next generation consoles are going to have Navi in it. Now, this is very important because next gen, we need 4K 60 frames per second. And this helps with the frame times because they don't have to calculate everything in it. So I'll give you an example. Content adaptive shading, like a fast moving image, like they'll concentrate on, you know, the main image, the stuff that's going by quickly. They analyze the frame that the previous frame, and then they approximate where the frame's supposed to be. So it's not as detailed, to be honest with you, but because
so is it like predictive shading? Or,
right. So it's not as detailed, but because it's going so fast, you're not going to notice that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they also have other techniques where, you know, they don't use all the shades of color. They, you know, where you're not really going to be looking, they kind of cut back the calculation on it. So once again, it's not going to be as accurate, but you're not going to really notice it. And this helps frame times, and this will help basically achieve a higher frame rate and potentially give us 4K 60 frames per second on the next gen console. So this is really, really good news for console owners, especially
anybody who's into performance. Like, why waste this reminds me of when I was talking about the Xbox One X and some of the things AMD were looking forward to and building towards, and intelligent rendering, I used to call it. It's kind of why waste resources on the stuff that's behind you, for instance, or in the next room, when you can put all that power into what's in front of you and do it very fast and efficiently. This is a step towards that direction with predictive shading. And if what you're saying is, because I haven't looked into it fully, but I mean, it makes perfect sense because we had already talked about stuff like this in the past. Me and D have done some streams, some bangers. So we've talked about all this stuff like years ago, and it's really cool to see it kind of coming through. When do you think this will actually be implemented, and when can we expect desktop class Navi GPUs that'll give us a hint as towards the APU stuff?
So there were some reports that came out that Navi was delayed, and now we're hearing some reports that it's not so delayed, that it's still going to release in the summer. So we're looking at basically a July, I would say, to September launch window. I'm going to kind of edge towards July. You know, you got, you know, the big PC conventions coming up. Of course, you got E3 coming up. So I think we're going to see it in the summer. I'm pretty sure. I think we're going to see, this year. We're going to see one flavor of it. I don't think we're going to see the top end Navi chip. I think we're going to pretty much see what's going to be in the next generation consoles and, like, you know, the mid-range kind of stuff. And I think the higher end stuff we're probably going to see in January at CES. They're probably going to wait to see what NVIDIA's doing and try to counter them. So I don't think they're going to play their entire hand. But for the most part, we're pretty much going to know what Navi is and what it's capable of doing.
I'm trying to make sure I understand this super chat from Midway 7. He says, do you think Game Pass will have more appeal from past exclusives like Halo 5 or Gears 1 through 4?
I think he's trying to say, like, maybe people that haven't gotten into the series can get Game Pass and play through all of them.
Oh,
like
okay.
Halo 1 through 4. I am not sure. I think that's what he's saying, like the appeal of being able to play those games on Game
Pass. It makes perfect sense. I mean, it's the reason that when Devil May Cry is about to come out here soon, you got the story so far, Devil May Cry. You know, like people want to kind of catch up and see what's going on there, right? So thanks for the question,
Kingdom Hearts, same thing, man. People are like, what the hell's going on?
Nobody knows.
What's going on? And I do not.
Kingdom Hearts is the first game I ever returned back to Amazon. I was so hyped for that game. I thought it looked fantastic. After, like, I think I played maybe 2 hours of it, and honestly, tell you, it still looks good. It's a good-looking game, but the simplistic nature of the combat is just so easy, and the dialogue just destroyed me. I felt like I
got a real serious question for you. Why the fuck were you hyped for it?
You know what? I played it at a few conventions, and it played well at that time. But of course, they only give you a little snippet of the game. You know, when I got the full game and just I don't know, it looked amazing. The different worlds.
What was your KD in the game?
The Toy Story world. I thought the kids would be really into it, and the kids were like, "Nah, man, we're gonna go play Anthem. We're gonna go play Fortnite."
Hell, dude, you didn't like Goofy, you know, in the background.
Reminds me of a beaver that learned how to use the keyboard. So we're gonna go ahead and actually move on. Hey, everybody, tune in, hit that like button. Let's get up to. I'm sure we're already there, but let's keep going.
2 more likes.
Let's get them likes and plus some 1,000 if you're watching after the fact as we move into the Xbox One S all digital edition. Yes, Xbox Maverick is apparently real. We reported on this forever ago. It did not get shown at what was it, CES, but apparently it's going to be revealed here soon, and it's going to be called the Xbox One S all digital edition. This gets reported by Windows Central as well as others. No, not the all-day digital edition.
I heard
the
Xbox gadget on the internet today.
All-day digital edition, the version that doesn't play games. Wow. We got to give
all day's like, I can't get the disc in here.
We got to give it. We got to give a shout out to All Day.
Y'all so petty.
So apparently, this is going to be releasing in May, and the rumor, according to Brad, is May 7th. It's going to be a discless Xbox One S. As I said before, according to what we're hearing, it's going to be the same exact shape and size of an S, but with no disk drive, no slot, which is kind of odd considering, but it also kind of might make it a little easier for the construction of the box. They may save the money they may have wasted by wasting the space they could have saved, if that makes sense.
Well, you don't have to R&D. You don't have to build new forms. And
you just take the disk
thermal forms and all that stuff. Yeah.
So that could be a thing. There's also apparently most likely a purple Fortnite edition Xbox One that no one gives a shit coming out as well. So the digital version, if you guys know, the way this is supposed to work is that you'll be able to take in your any physical games that you have to a Microsoft store, for instance. They may have some other partners on with this, but it's going to use part of that DRM system from 2013, according to Brad Sams.
Awesome.
Xbox One, every Xbox One game has a serial number, and I think it's one of the few devices in the world to do this, to where when you put that disc in, every disc has a serial number. That's how they were going to disable use games in the past. Well, they're going to actually use that system to let you trade in physical games now. So if you have a bunch of physical games, you want to go and say, hey, I want to buy this $199 Xbox One S all digital edition. Here's all my games. They're going to give you a bunch of codes back. You can fill out what will probably be a 1 or 2 terabyte hard drive. And
you can only do this if you buy this console?
I don't know.
I mean, that could be huge.
That's a good question.
That could be huge if you could take a couple of your games down and trade them for a digital version.
I mean, think about that though. That'd be really dumb if you had to buy this console to be able to trade, because getting rid of all physical games benefits all developers and publishers in every way, I would imagine. So if they can get rid of all those used copies, they should do this for anyone, I would think, right? What are you going to do? Bring in your receipt for your all digital edition and be like, I bought it. Can you trade these in? Or are you going to have to bring in the box itself? I bought it. Look. I mean, or can you just go in and say, hey, I'd like to trade these for some codes, and they make sure it works?
My question is, wait, how much is this going to be?
Like $199, I think.
Oh my gosh, it's too high. Price is just too goddamn.
For an S? Yeah.
Well, you can get an S for about $230 or $225, guys. Am I right?
But it'll be on sale for $150 more often. Instead of being on sale for $200, it'll be on sale for $150 a lot. You know,
Christmas time, that'll be a big seller. $150, come on.
Yeah, if it's $150, but $200, that's not the price. That's not going to work.
Yeah,
I think you're going to have to keep it at that price, because the streaming box, isn't the streaming box supposed to be like $150?
Well, we don't know if that thing is going to come out. I mean, there's been a version in the past that was apparently put on hold, and there's a new version, but we're not convinced for sure if that's hitting or not. We don't know. So I think 150 is the magic number as well. You want into that Nintendo Wii territory.
How are people saying $199 is cheap when you can buy the Xbox One S for around $200
now? Yeah, it's got to come down.
But it's news. You don't want to.
No.
And we don't know the hard drive size.
Yeah, we don't know how much hard drive space. It probably. I would say it's going to have more than 50 gigabytes, 500 gigabytes. So I would say it's going to at least be at 1 terabyte.
Yeah,
minimum 1 terabyte.
Because it's a streaming only system, so it's going to have to come with more.
Yeah, it's got to come. contaminate that.
Right
Yeah.
now on Amazon, you can get the Battlefield 5
Mm.
Xbox One S for $230.
Mm.
The problem,
So-
the problem I see though is when I'm looking at my son play his S,
Mhm.
some of these newer games, they're more demanding. The frame rates are a mess. Like, at this point, it's like everybody should just have an X.
Yeah, I
They are
agree.
more demanding, but games like Anthem, as demanding as that game is, still runs at 900p on that thing. And think about it this way: day one with the Xbox One original, he had a bunch of games running 720p. Like, software has come a long way, so they're going to really have to double down on that software if they're going to make this thing last another 5-6 years.
Dealer, when is this scheduled to launch again?
Rumor May.
Maybe this is how they're going to bring their xCloud in. Maybe they're going to really use this console as a catalyst to bring it in.
Yeah,
It-
that's
it
what
al-
I'm thinking.
It almost feels like a test bed, right? To gauge
Yep.
interest. And if they can gauge it now and see what's going on as far as like the direction. I mean, because do we have confirmation on Lockhart as far as being diskless or not?
No confirmation on the disk drive on the new system.
Yeah, the vibe I'm getting, like, this is a test, but they want to see if the demand is there for this.
My question is, and I'm going to throw it back to you in a second. My question is, will they keep the ES RAM in this thing? Because they could take this opportunity to replace it with actual GDDR5, which like in the X, there's no optimization needed there. The RAM is so fast that it doesn't know there's not ES RAM there. And they could take this opportunity to streamline that system, make it easier to develop for. And the whole point of this thing is to get the price as low as possible, to be the entry model, the entry model. Because remember, the S isn't going anywhere. We told you this a long ass time ago on the podcast. We had Brad Sams on. He said that he doesn't think the S is going anywhere either. It's going to be around for another 5 to 7 years. If you think that's going to be impossible, consider the fact that console software is going to keep these games running. It's going to be hard. Yes, you're not going to get a great experience, but you're also going to be paying $150. Think about that. So,
it's like when I watch my son try to play the Anthem demo, it was like watching Ark all over again.
Oh Lord!
Well, we've seen some of the analysis of that game, and it's already gotten a lot better. I mean, that game doesn't run how it should on any system.
No, at least it ain't bricking it. At least it's still running.
I mean, it's literally bricking systems fonts. I think it needs work, don't you?
Yeah, it's
I think what's going to happen with the S, though, as it gets older, as time progresses on that system, they're just going to start using different techniques. They're going to start using checkerboarding, just to get 1080p on it or 900p on it.
They'd have to bring it down to 480p levels to be around for the next 5 years for the S.
I really, really disagree with that. And what I'll say is, for people that think that this isn't going to be around for another 5 years, you need to think about xCloud itself. It's built on this hardware. They did not go and put a bunch of server racks in with Xbox One S hardware to run for the thing. Ain't even going to be out for 2020 till 2020 when it comes to xCloud. That's not going anywhere. They're going to later add a Anaconda version of Xbox streaming, but that streaming stuff is all built on S hardware. That's not going anywhere. And I want to sum it up by saying this: that also the software and optimization is going to come forward. It always has. The games look better than ever, and they run at higher resolutions than they did at launch. Some do struggle really badly, though, but that could be chalked up to developers and stuff. I'll also finish it up by saying this: they would not bring out this all digital Xbox in 2019 for it to simply be around for a year or two.
Yeah.
Nope,
I love innovation and everything, dealer, but when it comes to like the xCloud, they got to show me. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But this is the test bed. I mean, like dealer said, I mean, the physical S architecture, that's in the server racks. So that's going to be the first iteration before they implement an Anaconda version of it in the Azure base. So it's like, I think, again, 2019 is them testing things out. They're going to test demand for this actual device, you know what I'm saying, as far as the Maverick. And then we're actually going to test the actual service while we're right in that transitionary phase before 5G actually hits. So, and from my understanding, from what I heard, they're saying on 4G currently right now, they're extremely confident. So I'm actually excited to get into that beta, man. I want to get my hands on this thing. I want to put it through its paces. You know what I'm saying? Get your phone out, put your tablet, TV.
Yeah, that's until your provider throttles your 4G service.
Well, it's not for everybody, Fonz.
Yeah. Right.
No, I just know
people
how
got it like that.
I know people with Verizon. I know people with AT&T. I myself have T-Mobile, and they all throttle. They all throttle.
Well, then play on your Wi-Fi. Then, if you're on xCloud, especially if you're playing, through a console, then you had no problem being on Wi-Fi anyway. But David, kind of give us your thoughts on this Xbox all digital system here. What do they need to do, and what do they need to absolutely pull off correctly? The messaging, the price. What's the deal?
Well, the messaging is going to be convoluted because everybody's going to be looking at 3 different SKUs that's out there. So I think, yeah, because I was just literally thinking, this is what Sega did. Sega started putting out all these different systems, and it started messing up the messaging.
But this is the same system, though. It's just a different variant.
The same thing with the 32X. Remember, they had the 32X system, then they had the 32X plus a CD. I just hope that the messaging is clear.
Right,
now that
the messaging to be strong.
Right. I don't want it to be like before when they was giving you the messaging and everybody didn't know what side was up.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
The messaging has to be strong for this to succeed. I agree with that.
Who is it marketed to?
I argue that if this is successful, they may phase out the disc-based X anyway, or S.
Yes, that's something that's why the rumors are happening that the Lockhart's going to be diskless. But also, what we've seen, like Brad Sams has talked about this. A lot of people have written articles about this. You guys can look it up. Is that the xCloud is going to be a huge part of even the OG Xbox, and this diskless Xbox, where they're going to offshoot some of these like hardware problems, right? So they're going to offshoot some of these demanding games onto the cloud. I fucking hate him.
Even though Zucker's in the middle of a speech with fucking flags on waving in the background.
Oh god damn it. Nicole knows that gets me like every time. He does it in private parties and it breaks me where I just start laughing. But I think that the xCloud is going to be the way that they can basically keep that user base of like, whatever it is, 40 million Xboxes, whatever the hell it is now.
Does GameStop carry it?
Does GameStop carry what?
Would GameStop carry it? Because this all digital is the definitely.
That's a good point.
I think they'll sell anything. I don't think
they'll sell.
GameStop makes a ton of money off of the hardware.
Yeah, man, they don't give a shit.
So let me say something that Cognito brought up. He said the messaging needs to be clear. We also have to remember that just about every piece of consumer item that we buy comes in a base model or a deluxe model. Yes, cars, phones, everything.
I mean, but David had a lot of good points though with the different SKUs, but like I said, I would argue that maybe the S would phase out, and so would the X when the Lockhart comes. People are bitching about the Lockhart because it may be a little less powerful on the GPU side, but you got to understand that it'll run circles around the X when it comes to the total package. So they're going to phase out the X and probably the S. You'll have the diskless Xbox All Day Edition, All Day Digital Edition, and then you'll have the Lockhart, and then the Anaconda.
I don't want to sound pessimistic, but hey, I'm going to sound pessimistic here. The thing is like I don't like hearing all these promises that don't worry, the xCloud will take care of that. I hate hearing that because I don't see it. I don't, this is something that we don't know about.
I don't think the xCloud is going to supplement the hardware like in a S, for instance. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, there's not promises. It's just rumors. It's just people saying that they're flirting with the idea to see if it can handle it. They're not saying this is happening. It's confirmed. They're just flirting with it, and if it works out, it works out. If not, then promises.
Let me change my stance here. Then I don't like this flirting. Damn it! I
don't like taken.
Listen, man. At the end of the day, I mean, if the rumors are true, kind of like what Zorka said, and if Lockhart in theory ends up being that diskless version of the Scarlett family, then why not introduce Maverick now to get the base accustomed to how that whole process is going to work? So again, but David is right. Like at the end of the day, they have to be very clear. They have to be strong. How do you do it? How do you acquire your games back? All that messaging has to be good. Is it going to be something exclusive to Microsoft stores only? Is it something that other retail outlets are going to have? So again, this may be the right time to kind of get everybody calm down. Okay, this is what the process is.
And it reminds me of like the Connect, right? Like they feel like they didn't freaking get users ready for it, right? They were like, here's the Connect, fuck you, it's part of Xbox. You're done. That's all it was.
In the box, and you guys
in the box. And I feel like I feel like they learned from this. They're like, let's put out a Xbox One S that's going to be cheaper, diskless, and see if it goes with consumers. And if it does, then maybe we'll make the Lockhart diskless. And if it doesn't, I bet you they have a design with the disc inside of it.
But now we see where the Connect is. It's in the bushes, right?
Well, exactly. But I think it's a little different than that.
No, it's in the bushes.
people, right? Right, though, Fonz, don't you think? It's a better approach to give them an option to say you can do this, as opposed to saying, "Hey, you
must do this."
You know what I'm saying? That they've already seen how much of a negative reaction that gives when you give game. You force that option on them.
But how do you launch?
Go ahead.
How do you launch 2 new systems after you launch this new system? Do you understand? Like going forward is. It just seems like too many systems is being launched, and these people are going to start getting fed up with the fact that, okay, well, you just came out with this. I thought you said this was the new latest. And then the new latest.
They didn't do that. They didn't do that with the S and the X, though, because they were very transparent and said, hey, we got an S, but we literally unveiling the X at the same time. I mean, think about it. You got a graphics card in your PC. There's a billion of these things. And if you're going to make a purchase, you better be goddamn clear on what you're going to buy. You better know. And if you're in the store, you know that this $150 box is much cheaper than this $500 Anaconda. Like, you better ask questions. If you don't, you're a fucking idiot, in my opinion.
But at the same time, though, Microsoft has to be really clear on the message. So this E3,
that's true.
They have all gamers' attention. This E3,
Absolutely.
So they have the best opportunity to get their message across. Like the Samsung, the new Samsung phone that came out, you got the S10e, you got the S10, you got the S10 Plus, and they were very clear on the message what each phone does differently from one another, and you shouldn't be confused on what phone to get.
And people that would be confused probably don't give a shit. They just know what they paid, right?
Yeah, they just look at the price tag. That's what my video was about earlier this week. Like, the Lockhart may be $299 right out the gate next to the PS5 at $399. You know, and the people who don't care, that don't want to look at what a model offers over another one, they're like a mom, or they're someone who comes in and says, my kid wants a video game system, or my kid wants an Xbox or PlayStation, and they look at the price and they grab one. And as far as the Xbox, they'll probably have 2 options. They'll see one that says $299, one that says $499. That's what my take is.
Don't
and the mom will say, "Well, Jimmy's not that great of a kid. I'll get him the $299." In all seriousness, the people who don't research, they're going to go grab the $299 one because it's a better value. And that's going to be the most popular one. That's why Phil said a year ago, the X is going to be the monster, but the S is going to be the higher selling console.
Of course. Because just to cut you for 1 second, Fonz, in the sense that, remember, when that E3 of X reveal, the Scorpion reveal, people at that time, even myself, even questioned, like, that may have been suicide. You know, how do you release the S and then talk about a future console? But the numbers back, the X was tremendous and successful,
and the S won MPDs.
They won MPD. So again, it goes to show they have that confidence that they can kind of do that. For example, we know the X is here now. We got E3 2019 coming. The rumors are that one of these systems are going to be revealed. They have confidence that the playbook before proved that as long as you introduce it and get people ready, that they could still be all right financially.
So they can make an informed decision. That's what it comes down to. It's kind of like when you buy a new phone, you know there's gonna be another one next year. And 2, don't look at the all day. I keep saying all day digital. Don't look at the all digital Xbox as a separate system. It's the same system, but it's like a hard drive variant, for instance. Like, a lot of people don't use their disk drives today. Someone told me the other day they never used their 4K drive once. Like, it's the same damn thing. It just has something out of it that you don't use. Like, if you don't want a bigger hard drive, you don't have to get that version, right? I think that's more confusing than disc or no disc, like having to keep up with how much hard drive space something has.
It's confusing for the casuals. I think that discless box is going to be confusing.
Well, that's where that price comes in. They just know it's cheap.
And they're going to say, well, how do I trade in my games? Like, what's going on here?
Well, they probably don't have any games then, if that's the case.
No, they got
Better Call Saul says, but I thought Microsoft was leaving consoles. That's weird, huh?
Remember when we heard that thing was going to be called the X? We thought, we're going to be so confused going to the store, S or X, and you say it out loud, like
Infinity backflips.
I think it's so funny that we don't. I know that we're all pretty stupid in this world. Like, I know we are, but I was like, we don't give anybody any credit. Like, someone said in the chat, I wish I saw their name because it was a great comment. He goes, maybe a mom in 1993 would be confused. Yeah, I mean. Think of it this way: like, it's not a $50 purchase; it's a $150 to $500 purchase. Anyone who's breaking out that kind of money, they do just a minute of research. They look at the price tag, they look at the box, and then they ask the Walmart employee to come over and unlock it so you can get it out.
Most of the casuals will buy the cheaper console. Period. It's about the price at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It really is.
They'll buy the Xbox One S all digital edition, and they'll probably read the packaging and hopefully make an informed decision. I feel like buyers are much more educated than they were even 3 or 4 years ago. Things have just changed.
Like in the Apple TVs out there. Go ahead, D.
I'm saying parents are used to going digital now because all the parents are going to get these Fortnite cards, Robo-Blocks, all these different
Robo-Blocks.
Digital's the way to go now, man. It's a normal thing.
Well, hey,
and there's like
go ahead, Zach, we're gonna let you sum it all up. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I just think people are way more like educated on what's happening with the digital. Like there's the iTunes TV thing or whatever, the iTunes thing that you can put up there, iTV, and then there's like the Amazon thing that you can plug into the back of your TV. Like there's all these things out there that are all digital, all streaming, and it's been sold to millions of people. They understand what all digital is. You know, that's just the whole point. That I think that market has been set and people understand it, including the casuals. I don't think they're going to be confused on this. And if they are, then I have no idea where the fuck they've been the past 5 years.
So well said. Hey, we do gotta call it a night. Thank you guys so much for joining us live. Hit that like button. We do appreciate it. Also, you know what? Hey, check out Colt's last video, my last video. We're not out there crying like bitches panicking over Cloud, and you know what I'm saying? Like that's why these guys do this. You guys got to understand that. It's because they receive so much fucking support. And then I'll go in and edit a video for 10 hours and put out a positive message, and it gets, it still does better than most of their shit almost every time, but still, you get what I'm saying? Like the support there for them, that's the only way they can get the traction. So you guys checking out the stuff we do produce, it really helps a lot because we're not out there pandering to the bullshit. So we do appreciate it.
Let me say this.
The last video on the channel. Check out Colt's last video. Check out Zucker's last video. The Iron Lords. Bonzarelli just put out a video today as well, and D-Bash did too. So check out all of our stuff. Support it. Share it around because that's why these guys are doing it. Just letting you know. Colt, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, it's just kind of funny. I see a lot of these people say, I'm switching to PlayStation. I'm like, dude, you've had a PlayStation for like 3 years. You ain't switching nothing. Like, well, I don't. It's like they're making a life decision. Like, I'm coming out of the closet. It's like, what? Come on. Like, you've owned a PlayStation. It's like, and I think it's funny. Like, I know we've been very critical about how Xbox hasn't delivered the first party, bangers. And, but it's like we've invested money in both of our consoles, right? Or on our PC. Like someone who's bought a lot of Xbox games says, well, I'm going PlayStation. I'm like, what about the like $400 worth of games you have on the PlayStation ecosystem? Well, I mean, I'm going to keep my Xbox because I've got a lot of fun games there. It's like, so you're not switching to nothing. Like
you're just doing what we've been doing, playing all the first party on PlayStation that they have, the few that you do want to play, and then you're playing everything on Xbox anyway.
Yeah, 2018. Yeah, 2018 was amazing. Like Red Dead Redemption and Forza Horizon 4, like they were amazing games. And I played God of War and Spider-Man on my PS4, and I played everything else on the X. And I'll just do my outro right now just to get this out of the way since I took the floor for a minute. But my video about Xbox winning the generation by price, I think it means something. Like it's important if Microsoft has a $300 console and the PlayStation is $400, it's going to bring a lot of casual people. And, think of the 100 million PS4s out there. How many of those are casual gamers who just play FIFA or Madden or just Call of Duty, right? Well, I didn't hear that.
I said 100 million.
It could be 70 to 80% of the user base because we've seen 10 million people buy Spider-Man, 10 million people buy God of War. Like you can it's easy math. That's 90%, but I think it's somewhere around 80%. So it's a really good thing that they're offering an undercut console that's cheaper than the PS5. So I think it could be good. Plus all of the first party stuff that Microsoft's finally going to bring that we've been waiting for 3 or 4 years.
I'm scared.
Yeah, I can't wait. Zoo Tycoon 3 is coming. I can't wait.
Hell yeah. And that was my girl playing that the other day, by the way.
So yeah, dealer's right. Like this, everybody on this panel put out phenomenal videos. Zocker talked about new IPs. D talked about the new shader stuff. Dealer talked about the PS4 and like the Pro and how
many people were so upset because they're idiots and they can't read. I literally explained factually how memory bandwidth bottlenecks, even extra GPU performance. I showed it using a PC game. If you got to like 4 minute mark, I should have probably introduced that a little sooner. But if you got to the 4 minute mark or so, I literally went in and showed how increasing resolutions increases the memory usage of a game and how developers have to stay into a certain set. And a lot of people took that as me just talking shit about the Pro, but I'm literally just putting out there why the Pro is being stuck at 1080p. Like people are crying that the developers are so lazy and blah, blah, blah. And in some cases they are, but there's a real bottleneck there. And I showed you how that worked in that video. So if you haven't checked out my last video, how the PS4 Pro is being held back, check it out.
A case of a lazy developer is not these cases. It's just outmanned. But there is one case, Ace Combat.
Yep.
That was
mentioned that in the video too.
That was lazy devs, man. They didn't even try on the X.
Yep.
D didn't watch your video.
Didn't even try.
I watched the video. I did watch the video.
He said, I did, motherfucker. So, hey, speaking of D, I want to get your outro going on. What's going on, man? Where can people find you, and what have you been playing?
Well, nothing too much lately because I've been sick, but over the weekend I did play The Division. Fucking loving that game. I can't wait till it comes out.
Let's go.
You can catch me on Twitter at D_batch and at YouTube at DBatch.
Gotcha. Also, we got Colt. You just did yours, right? But what have you been playing? I don't think you covered that.
I'm playing a special game that I'm going to sell, so we'll get to that later.
It's RDX exclusive.
Zonker, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
I've been playing a lot of Anthem, a lot of Division, and a lot of damn Apex. I love that game. You guys can find me at Zalker87 on Twitter, Zalker87 on YouTube, and I've actually been streaming a lot, even though Dealer gives me a lot of shit about it, but I've been streaming a lot. Again, Zalker87, twitch.tv/Zalker87.
Yeah. So you can watch me take L's.
Yeah, or destroy people.
It's official. You got killed. Anyway,
stab you.
And we've also got Fonzarelli. Bud, what have you been playing? Where can people find you?
All right, I just uninstalled New Dawn trash, and I'm back to Assassin's Creed Odyssey because
the last episode of the first DLC came out today. Everyone,
I'm proud of you, Fonz, for playing that, man. I'm proud of you.
And I've got over 90 hours in the game now.
He loves it.
Great game.
I'm proud of you.
Where would you put that again in the game generation?
It's number 3 in this generation.
Can you say that again?
Look at my boy that came around, don't it?
It's number 3 this generation. Damn. Cognito.
Yep. Woo!
Dang.
But no,
that's high praise coming from Fonz.
Cassandra, Fonz. Cassandra.
Oh yeah, Cassandra's the way to go if you want to play this game. If you haven't, not like, and I got to tell you guys, that initially I just thought that it was just a carbon copy of Origins. It is definitely not. I can tell you the missions are way better than Origins, and the combat way better than Origins.
It's good.
Great game.
Malaka.
We've also got. You can find me at J Fonzarelli here on YouTube and Twitter. And I just made a video yesterday. I put it up today, and it's on diversity in gaming. If you want to talk about sex, go over to my video and check it out.
Go watch Fonz's video.
Go watch Fonz's video.
Yeah. Go do some weird shit on Fonz's video.
Sex sells, bro. Sex sells. I got to do it.
Well, I'm gonna move things. I'm gonna go ahead and do something different. Cognito, where can people find you? What you've been playing, bud?
Yo, man. So first of all, great panel, great show. Loved it. Always a good time with RDX. You already know at Lord Cognito on Twitter, at Iron Lord Podcast on Twitter, and actually our new website, lordsofgaming.net. Check us out, man. Yeah, man. We out there,
Lords of the Universe, but
that's right. We don't fall for y'all. And actually, your boy Jay Fonzarelli has an amazing article right now. He's up on the site right now talking about if Xbox consoles are going away. We talk tech, reviews, walkthrough. Check it out.
After everything we covered tonight, I feel like they're definitely going away. They're done. So
yeah, man. Fonz is schooling people, man. He's got a great article out. But yeah, please check that out when you guys can. And for me, I'm just playing a little bit. Same with D. I'm playing Division and Anthem, as much as I can before.
Hey, I gotta echo that. Go to lordsofgaming.net. Lots of great writers and stuff putting up stuff there daily. I had a great time writing that article for them. So yeah, you're gonna see more opinion pieces coming from me.
Thank you, bro. Yeah, fantastic piece, man. Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good.
What have you been playing, Cognito?
It's been Division 2 and Destiny Season of the Drifter. Everything looter shooter. You know me. Looter shooter. That's it.
Well, hey.
I just want to ask you guys on the panel that have played the Division 2. Is this not like the best shooter you've ever played? Doesn't it
amazing?
So
I'm
nice.
not gonna say it's the best, but it's damn good.
Once they fix the audio,
till they fix the audio.
Yeah,
I wish
the audio bugs. Audio bugs will be good.
But they got to be a purchase agent.
But if you're talking about shooters, Destiny is still the best.
Woo, Season of the Drifter.
Yeah.
Hey, agent, you left your debit card here.
Agent, thanks for your purchase. You want to buy some more filters?
So I gotta say real quick, Dealer and I were both trying to co-op the Division beta, and I was up ahead of him in a mission, and I was not having a good time. The dealer's in the main hub, like buying some gear, and he says into my mic, "Thanks for the business, agent." And I go, "What?"
Yo, D, we got our watches.
I started laughing because I
Agent,
just
let's go.
made it to the end of one little mission, and they opened the door for me. They're like, "Come on in, agent." And I'm like, right when he said that. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah, I when I bought some more guns and shit to stay alive in the post-apocalypse, and the guy looks at me and goes, "Thanks for the business, agent." I said, "All right, fuck you."
They took you out of the immersion.
I turned the game off. I'm not even gonna lie. I just couldn't do it.
Oh my gosh.
So David, man, you've been a little quiet. I know you're quiet as fuck. You had some, you know, you got some shit going in the background, building some Legos and shit. What have you been up to, and what have you been playing?
Well, all right. KOS is dropping tomorrow, 7 a.m. Iron Lords podcast on YouTube, lordsofgaming.net. You can definitely catch that statue up there. You're gonna see the unboxing. You're gonna see me give you a little bit of history. Combat Talk with the King. You're gonna catch that on Iron Lords podcast. You're gonna catch that on lordsofgaming.net. I've been playing Mutant Year Zero.
Hell yeah.
Apex. Get you. Oh boy.
What do you think of Mutant Year Zero?
I love it. I love the permadeath. It makes you afraid every time you engage with anything. Like you see a dog, you like, do I really want to touch that dog? I don't know. I like my duck, and I don't want my duck to die. I just got my duck a hat, and I don't want him to die.
Does this duck have a damn name? Shit.
I don't. You know what? I just call him Duck and Pig. Like
Like for the left pig. No, no.
Because they real rude
Quacks,
with it.
bro.
It's nice. I love it. I love it so much. I'm having so much fun with it.
Fucking
But
duck
I'm,
and pig. All right.
but I'm really afraid when I'm playing. I'm not joking. I'm real serious. Like I save every time I see like a little red mark.
you a
I'm like,
panic
oh,
saver.
man, I don't care what you saying. I'm not losing my duck. I don't care. I love my duck. That's not gonna happen.
His name is Ducks.
If you didn't have a camera on, I'd be convinced that you had a duck in your lap right now, petting it like a cat.
Crazy. I'm playing Apex. Somebody gift me Anthem.
Don't listen to this bum.
So yeah.
People are naming your duck right now. The chat. Why not Tom Honks?
Duck and pig. The Adventures of David, the Duck and the Pig.
So give his duck a name. Come on, duck.
All right. You fucking duck and pig. Jesus. Yeah, and I got everyone right. I don't want to. I mean, sometimes people are quiet and I forget.
Did
But
you get D?
I did get D. I
You
did
didn't
get
get
D.
the most talented member on the panel, bro.
Yeah. What do you think, D? I don't know. All right. Well, we just got a super chat. Great show. Thank you, Shoguns. We do appreciate it, man. I have been chilling, working my way through Metro, man. Things have been hectic the last couple of weeks. I got the dilemma of what's the best party game. I don't like focusing on a narrative game while I'm in the party, but I had been away from Metro so long that I was like, fuck it, I just got to play it some more. And even though I'm in a party, so I've been getting through that. My last video hit yesterday, kind of going to the technical aspects, showing why and how memory bandwidth affects games, and explaining that in my talented layman's term explaining ways. I'm really good at explaining things. So if you didn't check that out, check it out, share it. Like I said, we're doubling down on positivity, not crying like bitches for views. Once more, thanks for everything you guys do. Share this somewhere. We do appreciate it. We are out, guys.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
I signed it twice.
I got a hat for my duck.
I signed it twice.